In this review, we raise our royal arms in the air and we walk tall as we look at the player Sky Noctis from Final Fantasy XV.
The once helpless and hapless prince. Is he now ready to claim his crown? Don't let us down. Let the games begin.
No. Now they end.
Final Fantasy XV is a very interesting case for myself, as I was not paying attention to the development of the game for the entire 10 years that a lot of fans were. Me personally, I would just peek in and out as it would happen, and then suddenly Versus 13 became 15. As I did watch some of the 13 trailers as they were coming out, while I was impressed with the gameplay, Noctis' characterization for me seemed very angsty and broody, and I was thinking, oh boy, another game where an emo kid who has to become a prince doesn't really want the responsibility, but he has to learn to accept the responsibility. Just wasn't appealing to me. But I gave it another chance when it became 15. I looked through more of the development as it went on, and seeing scenes like this,
I think we can forget about hitching our way there. Thought people were friendly outside the city.
You can only go so far on the kindness of strangers.
You're just gonna have to push her all the way.
I've already pushed myself to the brink of death.
Get up. Come on, car isn't gonna move itself.
Sheesh. I thought the car was supposed to move us.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Can it? Ready, steady. Push!
definitely went a long way into opening up my mind a bit more about the game and giving it another try. So just like everyone else, I picked it up on Christmas, played it, I loved it. I would play it again, and I hope we get more DLC. So enough about my social commentary, let's look at the figure. Opening up the cover, and you get to see the figure in a nice representation of one of Noctis' teleportation attacks in-game. You also get a nice description of the world of Final Fantasy XV, as well as King Regis' wayward son. On the other side, you get a preview of the figure, as well as his accessories and a silhouette of his signature weapon, the Engine Blade. Out of the box and out of the plastic, and now we have Noctis Lucis Calum in PlayArt Sky form. And he looks amazing. It's very accurate how they were able to do his hair, especially with all those polygons that he uses in the game. Also, he has really nice details like the skulls on his jacket and his pants as well. I know PlayArt Sky gets a hit or miss reputation, but they did a really good job with his face, and it really matches up to his in-game model. And now let's look at some articulation. The head has two joints on the bottom and the top of the neck, so it can look down pretty far, but not very far up. The arm can go about that high, and also has a 90-degree bend on the elbow. The wrist has its own ball joint that can go up and down. With three joints in the chest, he can look down as well as up very well. The legs can go about that far in between each other. Has a nice range up, and as well, double jointed knees. It gives a nice dynamic range for the figure. Lastly, the figure has joints in the ankles, which gives it a nice dynamic range and a toe pivot. Overall, I would say this figure has a great range of articulation. PlayArt Sky Noctis comes with a few accessories including open hands, gripping hands for weapons, as well as the default fists that come in package, and two swords, or as the game refers them to, royal arms. The first one up happens to be Noctis' signature weapon, the Engine Blade. It has nice chrome painting near the blade and gold accent painting near the engine. It definitely stands out against other Final Fantasy weapons. Next up is Noctis' royal arm, the Sword of the Father, his father's sword. I would say that this sword is just as, if not even more detailed than the Engine Blade. You might wonder why none of the other arms are in this, but it fits thematically with Noctis, and it really fits towards him in the end of the game during this final battle. For comparison, we have Raiden from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and the one-winged angel himself, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. Imagine if they get to duke it out in the city one of these days. One last thing to note is if you were able to get the Ultimate Edition of Final Fantasy XV, then you were able to get the version of Player Arts Noctis with the Javelin Lance. It's the only real difference in that version of the figure. Everything else is the same. You could try to find it now, but there are only 4,000 made and are very hard to find. If you can find one, God bless you. I've been dealing with Play Arts Kai figures for about 2 years now, and they have yet to disappoint me when it comes to articulation, look, and feel that it represents the character just as well as the video game did. And Play Arts Kai Noctis is not an exception to that rule. I really did not give Final Fantasy XV a fair chance back when it was at Versus 13. His character design was just not gearing towards me. I was kind of getting out of that phase in my life as a teenager, but playing the game and seeing it become 15 and the brotherhood that he has with Ignis, Prompto, and Gladio really showed that just because a character looks dark or emo, as I put it, doesn't mean that they're bad or they don't have other characteristics. This game just blew me away with its design and gameplay. It felt like the best Final Fantasy to me since 13, and it definitely changed the game on all Final Fantasies going forward. I will say, get Noctis. He's not that bad of a price right now, considering the fact that he's fairly new. I got this for about $140, and I will say that this is one of the best figures that I get. However, I do have 2 more on the way, so watch out for it. This is 101 R. Smith, and I will see you later. Peace.
What is that?
I'm afraid you're out of luck. The throne brings you here. It seats only one.
Off my chair, Jester. The king sits there.